I have a piece of technology in my hand that can cool down the planet, that can end world hunger, and can install world peace on this planet. Raise your hand if you know what this piece of technology is. All right, a couple of persons. All right, I'm curious to hear it. My second question is, I have a dinosaur in my pocket, and I'm asking you, why do dinosaurs have these huge fins on their back? These giant fins. Anybody knows? Raise their hand. Okay, a couple of people knows it. I'm going to put the dinosaur here for now. It's part of the presentation. And my third question is, why are we calling this event the Climate Change Summit and not the Global Warming Summit? Who knows? Well, did you know that the Bush administration actually pushed the name climate change instead of global warming because it sounds less alarming? You can keep on pumping oil if it say, oh, it's just changing the climate, it's not warming. But maybe we should emphasize that it's really warming. That's a real problem. But before we start and fix the solution, it's super important to think about what your dream is. Because every revolution started with a vision, started with a dream. So I'm going to give you 1 minute to talk to your neighbor and just say in one sentence what your biggest dream of the future is. You have 1 minute right now. Go for it. My biggest dream, personally, is to go from darkness to light. When I was 16 years old, I was in a huge depression. I even felt suicidal. And I remember back then that the only thing that's important in life is happiness and health. Because if we're not happy and if we're not healthy, then all the dreams we have are impossible. Without health, we can't get anywhere. And now look at me today. I'm one of the most optimistic and happy persons on this planet. I found a solution, and it's called reconnecting with nature and reconnecting with yourself. It really works, but it's hard to do. Because we as humans, we got disconnected from nature. I'm going to ask you this question. This image, does anybody know what it is? Yeah? Brain cells? Anybody else? Roots? A lung? A leaf? They all look alike, right? This is actually a picture of a lung, a human lung. But on the right side, you have the picture of a tree. And if you look at it, nature and humans, we are like the yin and the yang. We are so closely interconnected with each other that the nature beautifully complements us. It's basically the two sides of the same coin, where the one is actually producing oxygen and the other one is consuming oxygen, but also producing CO2, and that CO2 is then again being eaten by trees. I'm going to tell you a funny social experiment that I've been doing for the last 10, 15 years. I have a landscape architecture firm. So we design landscapes all across the world. We design gardens, we design farms, we also design private islands and cities and streets. And we have clients that are billionaires. We have clients that are just regular people. We have clients that are extreme left, extreme right, super religious, non-religious at all. But they all have two things in common. They all want their kids to be happy and healthy. And that's why I keep on emphasizing on this, because they can discuss about politics, about religion, about money, about anything, but they're never going to discuss, oh, I don't want my kids to be healthy. Who of you want your kids not to be healthy? Nobody? Well, that's good news. The Romanians love their children. And that's why I say if health and happiness are not at the center of any discussion you're having, it's not a discussion, it is fantasy. And I want you all to be alert for this. I want you all to listen to the conversations happening today, happening tomorrow, happening in the next week, happening in your lifetime. Because if happiness and health are not at the center of that discussion, it is bullshit. It's the only two things that really matter. Now let's get back to the problem. We started by global warming. The climate is warming. Most of you know the hockey stick curve. I've been seeing a similar kind of curve today. For the last 12,000 years, temperatures has remained very stable, and that's the reason why we have culture like we have it today. Almost the entire history of where we built culture, agriculture, buildings, made plays, wrote books, happened over the last 12,000 years and even more recent, and it's only since the Industrial Revolution that it has been gone up so rapidly, and there is no human in history that has ever gone into that part here. No human in history has ever been there. We are the first ones. So it's going to be challenging. And in order to work with that challenge, we need to just solve the problem. If it's too warm, we need to make it cooler. And one of the most impressive places I've been to is the Amazon rainforest. I was there to film a documentary called Eat More Trees. And there I learned that for the last 12,000 years, people actually co-created that Amazon rainforest. It is a 12,000-year-old food forest. So it's a living proof that people, if they work together with nature, they can create one of the most incredible places on this planet, the Amazon rainforest. And if you think about global warming, then you think, oh, those poor old people, they're going to be sweaty all day, they're going to suffer. And it's true, but an even bigger problem is the farmland that is being degraded to feed these old people and to feed you, of course, as well. If you look at the report of the United Nations, they warn that by 2050, 90% of our soils will be degraded. That's in less than 25 years. I see most of you, I think most of you will still be alive in 25 years. So that's you guys. That's you guys. In 25 years, what are you going to eat? Are you going to eat your iPhone, your Tesla? I don't think so. We still need food that has been grown on real living soil. And this soil that's been degraded, it goes hand in hand with the water cycle that has been degraded. Our water cycle is so bad right now that we have huge, long periods of droughts, long periods of flooding, and fire, and it's one big cycle. But thanks to this incredible dinosaur, we can maybe learn how to turn the tide. Now, who of you knew why they have fins on their back? To protect themselves. That's true, we need to protect our planet, but yeah, to cool themselves, exactly, that's the point. And I was thinking to myself, well, if this dinosaur can cool itself with fins on their back, why don't we just give the earth fins? And the good thing is, it exists, and it's called a tree. So I'm standing here all sweaty because I'm so nervous, and my sweat, you know, sweat is like water, it evaporates. And because of sweat evaporating, it takes heat from my armpit, and it goes high into the atmosphere until the ceiling, in this example. And the same happens with trees. An equivalent of 9.18 tons of TNT per day, per hectare of trees, actually is cooled down. I'm not talking about CO2 or carbon, no, I'm just talking about the sweating of trees that is cooling down the planet like it's cooling down our armpits. The fins of the dinosaur, people. So, it creates all this sweat, it goes high into the atmosphere, rising air, and because of it, it's like a huge pump, and it pumps clouds from the sea zip, to the forest, and the forest, or the trees, they also emit little particles of bacteria, of fungi, of dust, of aerosols, and they are actually seeding rain, seeding clouds. They're cloud seeding. It's geoengineering, but then cheap. So they're doing this, the clouds come, they connect with these little particles, and of course, then it rains. So trees do not only cool down the planet, they also create rain. And that's, again, this beautiful example of the Amazon rainforest, where you have clouds that go from deep here in the ocean all the way to the Andes Mountains, more than 6,000 kilometers, and these clouds can only get there because of this biotic pump write down that name, biotic pump. That's what's happening in action. Now, the biggest problem is, right now, 20% of the Amazon rainforest has been cut down. If we go to 25%, we all die. Because it's a tipping point. If the Amazon rainforest falls, other ecosystems will fall, and that's a place where we don't want to go. But like I said, I'm an optimist, I'm a happy person, because I know that there is a solution. And the solution is, we need to plant 550 million hectares of trees, and that will cool down the planet with 2 degrees Celsius. Of course, I'm not saying that we should not stop carbon emissions and all the other emissions. That's like closing the faucets, but now we also have to clean the room, and to clean the room, we have to plant all these trees. So what is 550 million hectares of trees? It's just doubling the Amazon rainforest. So imagine we take a bit of the Amazon rainforest, and yeah, I know, I love animations on PowerPoint, and we just spread it all across the world, little by little, then you see it's really feasible to do so. If you don't believe this theory, look at the city of Colombia, Medellin, where they've done that. They cooled the temperature there with 2 degrees Celsius. Now, where are we going to plant all those trees? Very simple. Half of the world is farmland. We just plant it on farmland. And then I often get the comment, yeah, but how are we going to grow our food? And that's where this piece of technology, where is it? I put it in the wrong pocket. Oh my God. I've got it. This piece of technology, it's called a chestnut, but it can be any nut, because this piece of technology, I can plant it, it will create a gazillion of extra nuts, it can feed the world, it will cool down the planet, and it will also help nature and biodiversity. We go from a farming system that looks like this, and we want to go to a farming system that looks like that. You can do farming just like it exists today, but add trees to it. And for that, of course, we can also look at the Amazon rainforest and just copy it, because it is a food forest, but it's a bit hard to fill the supermarket shelves of the Auchan, for example. But if you put it neatly in rows, then it's easily harvestable, and then you can put it all in the supermarket shelves. And you can have the best of both worlds. You can have the farming that exists today with more trees next to it, but that, of course, you are going to have to eat more trees, eat more tree products, eat more chestnuts. I see that there are a lot of walnuts here in little bags that you can eat, and start eating those already. Now, of course, you maybe don't have a farm, but you do have a garden. And if you see, that is like the prototype of the most ugly gardens in the world, in the United States of America. But a lot of gardens really look like this. They just have lawn. It's concrete, it's like green concrete, it's dead. So why don't we plant food forests on those? Trees that do not only produce flowers are beautiful, but also produce a lot of edible stuff. And that is a food forest. You use all the different layers. And imagine you have one of those on your balcony, in your small garden, and your kids or you can, like every morning, pick some berries, you can put it in some granola or in a shake, and it's just delicious. But why not only put it in your garden if you can also put it in companies where you have a lunch meeting? Just do it in the food forest. The parkings of the Auchan, for example, let's put them full with food forests. And that will help health and happiness, because ADHD symptoms are reduced. Even you sell more as a company if you have more greenery around it, and it is so clear that mental health is so much better if you have more greenery in your street. Now, don't wait for politicians to solve it, do it yourself. You have the power to do it. Politicians, they work for us. They are our employees. So if we want to do it, then they just have to listen. So don't panic, organize. And in the course of this day, if you ever think and doubt that, who am I? I'm just a simple citizen. How can I change the history? Well, you can. The only way history has ever changed is because of a small group of committed people. You are not a small group. We're here today with more than thousands of people. So be that change. We can do it together.
Thank you and congratulations. Don't forget your dinosaur. Thank you.